All right, Michelle. So we were given the task to find old gadgets.
Yes.
But the problem is when King 5 moved buildings, we got rid of a lot of those. So it was a hard thing to find. I found an old beta tape.
Wow.
Yeah,
Haven't
remember
seen
those?
that in a long time.
What about you?
I found a camera that, a film camera.
A camera that actually shoots film?
Yeah, is that what you call them?
Can you buy film anymore? I guess so. I found an iPod, which if I had it, it'd be a J-pod.
That's cool.
Jordan.
Wow, that's
Terrible
neat. I like
jokes.
that one.
Yeah, isn't that kind of cool? It's the mini.
I found a chalkboard.
Oh yeah, that's old.
We still use that.
I mean, what was like your go-to gadget back in the day?
The Polaroid camera.
Polaroid camera.
Remember you used to have to
Yeah,
shake it?
you do that. Gosh, those were the good old days.
Yeah, those were the good old days. We need to go back to the good old days.
To the good old days.
We're going to learn something. We're not content with just the headlines or the typical talking points.
It's a refreshingly honest conversation about what's going on.
It's about connecting our community and doing something to really make a difference.
We're taking today's stories and bringing positivity back.
Hey everybody, welcome to Take 5. So glad you are with us on a Tuesday afternoon. Big part of the show is you, obviously. We say that every time. We're going to say it again because we love talking with you. We love when you text us, send us your thoughts, your ideas, questions, style advice, whatever you want. 206-448-4545. But the main thing, be kind, right?
Yeah, we like that. Kindness is awesome. Also, we're talking about those old gadgets that used to be around that we miss back from the day. Maybe we could bring them back. Our editor's son is here with a payphone. So, do you miss an old school device? We want to know. I wonder if he even knew what a payphone was.
A lot of people don't.
I know, a lot of kids don't know what that is.
Yeah. Well, I just want the kids just out of the devices, period.
You do?
Talking to each other.
That is true.
We kind of miss those connections. Did we mention that we have another Chris in today?
Oh,
I guess you always have to have a Chris on Take 5, right?
It was in the contract.
Yeah, so Chris Cashman is, having a well-deserved vacation. Chris Daniels filling in. Happy to have you on the show again.
It's great to be here again.
Yeah. Well, we got to get to the big story.
Yeah.
This was
Big
pretty
day.
exciting news, right? This was the announcement of the nomination for Seattle's next police chief. And not only is this big because of that, but it's big because she's making history. Chief Carmen Best is going to be the first black woman to hold this position. And so it's significant on that end as well. But we want to check in right now. Chief Best is meeting with city officials along with Mayor Durkin. So we have a live picture of that. So hopefully we can go to that in just a second. But this was a long time coming, because remember, she didn't even make the list at first, the top 3. But before we get to that live picture, let's listen to this soundbite from earlier.
As the new police chief, I'll continue to help lead our department through reform. As we enter the next phase of the consent decree, we will move ahead with a culture of continuous improvement and innovation at the Seattle Police Department. This is what I expect. It is what our community deserves. And I know that great things are ahead.
And Chief Best has been the interim chief since the beginning of this year. And again, she's doing a meet and greet right now with city officials, and we will hopefully bring you some images from that in just a little bit.
Got a new police chief. It's an exciting day.
Yeah.
Big day.
Well, and it's stunning, really, in Seattle city government. It's a stunning reversal. And just in the last month now, we've seen a couple of cases where the public was able to force a key reversal. You want to say that politicians aren't listening? Well, you had the head tax and now this. And Carmen Best's biggest strengths are her charisma and her connection with the community and her knowledge of it. Here's just a slice of that we saw here last week when a Take 5 viewer asked a question. This is how she answered it.
I was hoping it was the winning lotto ticket, but I'll take what you have here. And do I read this?
Yep.
Okay.
Please.
It says, is there new technology you want to investigate to make the department more efficient and effective? And this is from Kim. So we're always looking at ways to engage technology. Right now we have a data analytics platform that we're utilizing. If you look online, you'll see a whole host of dashboards. We're way in front in technology in the Seattle Police Department, and we're continuing to look forward on this very important front. You can look on their dashboard now and you can tell what crimes are occurring where in the city. where bias crime is occurring, where crisis intervention is happening. We keep a lot of information, a lot of data, and we're actually making sure that we're moving forward on that. Technology is a really vital aspect of policing.
Yeah, you could say that was kind of a typical answer, but the reason why I wanted to show that to you is what you saw there was a couple of things. That charisma from Carmen Best, and on the fly, the ability to recall specifics here in Seattle. She is well liked by city leaders, by community activists, and it's interesting when you talk about what has happened here in the city of Seattle and what appears to be a reversal. Remember, she was not a finalist. When the list of finalists came out, there were 3. She was not part of that list. What you saw in the last couple of weeks, the mayor, Jenny Durkin, got her into that final list because there was a lot of people in the community who said, hey, where's Carmen Best? Today, our own Alyssa Hahn at a press conference asked Jenny Durkin why that change was made, and there's a quote that Durkin responded, and you kind of saw her face stiffen up. She said, she got a list of 3 that under the charter I can choose from. You read between the lines on that statement, and it sounds like the mayor was kind of working to try and get Carmen Best in the final 3 so then she could select her. We saw one of the finalists step aside, say he's going to come back perhaps at a later date in another job. So there was some political maneuvering behind the scenes, and it really, again, this is all because of the community pushback in the 48 to 72 hours after that initial announcement of the finalists was made. The community really did make a difference here.
Wow. That's great.
And it looks like we've gotten a text message from someone. If we can pull that up, it says here, congratulations from Pierce County to Carmen Best. And Chris, you know, to your point, I was thinking earlier about just in the short time that Mayor Durkin has been in office, we had the head tax situation, the community pushed back, and there was a change in that. And then with this, the public outcry over Interim Chief Best not being on that final list, and there was a reversal. People can make what they want out of it. I think for me, it shows definitely a willingness to listen and, you know, not being afraid to make a different decision if you feel like you've gone in against the interest of the people.
And listen, there's been criticism that this leadership in the city of Seattle is tone deaf at times. And that's why I say in the last month we have seen now 2 big cases with the head tax and with the selection of the chief where the community really did make a difference, pushing back, raising concerns, holding rallies at City Hall, and we have seen really 2 stunning reversals in terms of city politics back to back.
Well, we're super thankful for you because you were the one who got to interview them. We had the questions from the viewers, obviously, who sent in from the 5 Hive, and that was really great. But since you did sit down with all 3 of the candidates, how do you feel about the decision?
Well, I think Carmen Best showed in what is the lengthiest job interview anybody will have that she had the leg up on the competition here. Being somebody who has spent more than 2 decades, 25 years in the Seattle Police Department, being the person here locally that has made the connections with all those community leaders. It's rare that the police guild comes out and says that they like the candidates for chief or that they like a chief. They came out and did that. And I think what you see with the answers like the one that we just showed is she has that total recall. She understands the way this city works compared to other cities. When you ask some of those same questions to some of the other candidates, they don't know all the particulars. They don't know what has happened with high-tech policing in the city of Seattle. She does, and I think she also has known the mayor for a long time here in Seattle in other roles that Jenny Durkin has had. So I think that helped her as well.
Chris, you don't know much at all. Not much at all.
I'm just a guy who's filling in for Chris Cashman. You got to have a Chris.
Let's go ahead and look at another text, though. Just one more before we wrap this thing up. My name is James, and I'd like to say that I think it's awesome. For once, there's 2 things happening here. The color barrier, for one. 2, it's a woman. I think it's about time that a woman is accepted in a position like that. That show that this is not just men that are capable of doing this job. But we have to mention, we've had a police chief who is a woman before. So.
And you know what's key about that I want to point out to all the women out there is that the former chief, the one that just resigned, the woman, she mentored Chief Best. And I was just talking to another woman recently who just took a job in an all-dominated team, and she said someone came to her and said, hey, I want to mentor you. And I think that's such an important thing to do when you don't have a lot of role models, is mentor someone. Male or female, whatever. Mentor. Right now, we have some other news to get to. The Fast 5. I don't know what that was.
That was the gong saying,
wrap it up.
Let's do it. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is not only the richest person in the world, He is now also the richest person in modern history.
Oh, wow.
According to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, Bezos' fortune is now more than $150 billion. That's $55 billion richer than Bill Gates, but Bill Gates also gives away a lot of his money, but that's another topic. Okay. I mean, I wasn't taking the swipe, I was pointing out. Yeah, okay. Well, look, Amazon does not yet explain what caused problems for error messages on Prime Day. At least the puppy's cute in this, right? The online shopping giant site crashed just minutes into the 36-hour promotional sale. Oops.
Ethnic and religious differences still determine who gets opportunity from Central Europe to the Gulf. It is a plain fact that racial discrimination still exists in both the United States and South Africa.
In a speech marking Nelson Mandela's 100th birthday, former President Obama warned that world politics has become more dangerous and more brutal. He took the opportunity to remind people that racial discrimination impacts lives around the world.
First of all,
Today, King County took down a giant hogweed plant in a West Seattle backyard. The noxious weed is so poisonous that it can cause severe burns on your skin because it makes you extremely sensitive to the sun. 12 years ago, the county documented more than 1,000 hogweed plants. But thanks to work like they did today, they've cut that number to just 400 last year. The UW is hosting a summer nurse camp for high schoolers this week. The program targets teenagers who might not otherwise know how to pursue a nursing career. Many of them are minorities or they come from low-income families. The University of Washington says nearly half of the teens in the camp actually end up pursuing nursing careers where they can make more than $70,000 just in their first year on the job. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Hey, if you'd like more information on any of those stories, just text the word FAST for more information.
How do you choose which camp to put your kids in? There's so many.
All of them.
You know?
Yeah. And by the way, let me clear the air. I was not trying to pit billionaire against billionaire. I was just saying if you say that Bezos is worth more, I'm just saying that Bill Gates gives away a ton. So not that Bezos doesn't. I'm saying that Bill has given away a ton.
Oh, we heard it.
You know what? Okay. Trying to stir the drama like this.
I'm teasing.
We've talked about that before.
We have.
Yeah.
We've mentioned it
Yeah.
before. All right, should we talk about the other big headline
I'm all
across
for
the
it.
country
Let's
and
go.
the world?
Let's go.
Okay, President Trump trying to settle a pretty big controversy that he doesn't have confidence in his own intelligence agencies. During a news conference with Vladimir Putin, this was the president's response to Justice Department findings that Russia did indeed meddle in U.S. elections.
They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be.
So this set off a firestorm from both Democrats and Republicans. In fact, here's what two prominent members of his own party had to say.
Let's not mince words. Today was a terrible day for the American brand, for the American people, and for all of our allies.
I never thought I'd see an American president throw the intelligence community under the bus like that.
Okay, so today the president tried to set the record straight at the White House, and he said it has really become a case of would versus wouldn't.
Now, I have to say, I came back and I said, what is going on? What's the big deal? So I got a transcript. I reviewed it. I actually went out and reviewed a clip of an answer that I gave. And I realized that there is a need for some clarification. It should have been obvious. I thought it would be obvious, but I would like to clarify just in case it wasn't. In a key sentence in my remarks, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't, or why it wouldn't be Russia. So, just to repeat it, I said the word would instead of wouldn't, and the sentence should have been, and I thought it would be maybe a little bit unclear on the transcript or unclear on the actual video. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be Russia. Sort of a double negative.
I'm confused.
Really
I think I
confusing.
missed something.
I think
Do you believe it?
we're told in school not to use double negatives.
They cancel each other out, don't
Yes.
they?
Sometimes when you're ad-libbing, stuff can just come out. I don't know. I have to imagine he had prepared remarks when he gave those. I don't know. But then he is known to go off script.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's been widely reported that he had advisors talk to him and tell him what to say, you know, and brief him through all this stuff, and then he went on his own game plan at the last minute, which is typical. I mean, we've heard this before with the president. So the question is, you know, what do you believe? I think if you look at all the tweets and all the things that he put out yesterday, it would be kind of hard to 100% believe that. But
well,
I don't want to
get
super political.
I mean,
yeah.
he gave other
a
interviews.
lot, yeah.
That seemed to double down on the theory that he was backing the Russians and not U.S. intelligence.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's the heat. I don't know. Blame it on the rain. Blame it on the heat.
Nice.
I don't know.
Nice segue.
And for that, I got to go to Jordan.
No, you're right. You're right. You can now officially, I mean, I know a lot of people have been doing this for decades, if not a lot longer than that. You blame your mood, what's going on in your life, on that. The weather, right? Whether it's sunny, whether it's rainy. And so if you've been feeling a little cranky recently because of the heat, here's the breakdown, all right? I want to give you a little bit of some information. On warm, sunny days, let's just say pleasantly warm, it actually found to bring a depressed person's mood up. So that's good. Now, when it gets a little too hot, like it has been the last couple of days, it makes people cranky. It puts you in a negative mood. It causes aggression, grouchiness, sadness. Maybe you saw some of that aggression out on the road during the traffic situations, but yes, it could be because of the heat as well. Also, when there's extreme rain, certain circumstances in areas that doesn't normally see a bunch of rain, that also promotes aggression and decreased life satisfaction. So there are pros and cons to living where we live, depending, you know, no matter where you are in the country, depending on what the weather pattern is outside of your doorstep. Now, I want to say something. Out of this study that was done, about 20% of the people were summer lovers. And if you're a summer lover, you love the sun, you're happier, you're less fearful. If you're a summer hater, there's about 30% of you who are summer haters out there. You're less happy, you're more fearful, you're angry when the temperatures and the percentage of sunshine was higher. So I get it. We're almost done with the heat wave, okay? Just check out my graphic. Check out the forecast. We start to cool down a little bit. After today's mid-80s, we go down into 70s and we can all relax again and enjoy being back outside. Unfortunately, it's not going to last too long, but we got a few solid days of beautiful weather ahead. There you go, you guys. So anytime we get into a little bit of a bickerment, that's why. 5-5 time.
Did he say bickerment?
Bickerment.
I love that. All right. I just want to say we know that the heat is good for some folks because look at this. Our baby Henry, our baby correspondent, says he likes the heat because he's handling it like a champ, says mom Holly User. So another day, another nap in a wagon. How cute is that? Love it. Also, let's see, Janet wanted to remind us that primary voting begins Friday with 39 Washington counties providing free ballot return postage. And we had a message from Keela saying, we are so proud of Carmen Best. We've got a lot of great pictures and stories in there. Oh, and some people were talking about primary having issues. We've seen that too. All right, I'm losing my mic, so I'm just going to say this real quick. Text HI to 206-448-4545 if you want to join our online community. In the meantime, I'm going to toss it back over to Chris and Angela while I try to get my mic back on so I can talk. It's like sliding.
Yeah. Okay, well, you sounded good here, but...
Yeah, we're making up words all over the place today, right?
Seems that way. I bet Stephanie is all prepared and ready to go, though. She's here for the producer's pick.
Hey guys, yeah, I'm back here just kind of manning the show. I try to be prepared, but you know, it goes off the rails from time to time. So we look at video that comes in from all over the world, and this video out of Wisconsin really stood out to me. A mother and daughter who were separated for 6 months because her mother was deployed, and her mom was in Asia for 6 months, and this was the moment that they were reunited. So Sydney was at Girl Scout camp when her mom showed up to surprise her, and she said the first thing that she wanted to tell her mom was, "I love you." So I just thought that was so sweet, especially having two girls. I can't imagine being separated for 6 months. Actually, both of her parents serve in the Air National Guard, Melissa and Jason. So just wanted to say thanks for your service, and back to you guys.
Oh my gosh, seeing those reunions, it never gets old. And every time I see one, it just reminds me of the sacrifice. Every time. It's like, okay, they made the sacrifice, because separations are hard when you're away from one.
And usually when you're scrolling through Facebook or social media and you take a look at videos, you tend to like scroll past them, but always on those, it's like, no, I gotta watch this whole thing and see the reaction, and 9 times out of 10, there's gonna be tears flowing.
Oh yeah. Well, look, when we come back, I don't know if it'll make you cry, but I think it will be empowering and informational.
Good.
And kind of cool.
Awesome.
You're gonna meet the woman who's going to be shaping the next Barbie that you see, and why she's doing it, and her message for girls. It's coming up next here on Take 5.